Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is a financial education channel, and we got a massive amount of earnings to cover. Well, not a massive amount. We had a massive amount of earnings come out today. We got four I'm really covering. GoPro, Amazon, Google, Starbucks. Three of those four had great numbers, guys. So we're going to kind of recap what they did for numbers. And let's just get right into this. So the first one we're going to be looking at is GoPro. Why? Because it's my biggest investment. It's the one I care about the most of anything. Before I even get into any of the numbers, I just want to say, after looking over this quarter, being on the conference call, I haven't felt as good about my position in GoPro ever since I've been invested in it when I started investing in 2016, guys. Like, I've never felt as confident in my position as right now. Like, the turnaround is official. Like, it was like maybe coming, but now we've had two great quarters in a row. It's officially here, guys. So let's look at what those numbers came in at. So GoPro, the headline numbers here, GoPro beats revenue guidance. First quarter revenue up 19% year over year. Operating expenses down $50 million quarter on quarter. GoPro followers on Instagram up 40% year over year, up 22% year over year on Facebook, and Karma is off to a strong start. So right off the bat there, guys, these headline numbers, very, very good, very positive, but let's dig a little deeper into these numbers. So what do we have here? They did $218 million in revenue this past quarter. Now, that was versus $183 million last year, so very nice increase of over 19% right there. We see gross margins fell just a teeny bit. That's mainly because of the Karma launch. Karma is a lower margin product than the cameras are historically, so that's why margins fell just slightly there. But something I like here is if we go ahead and we look at the non-GAAP loss, they lost $62 million, even with all layoffs and severance packages they had to pay off and whatnot. Non-GAAP, $62 million versus last year they lost 86. So we're getting a lot closer to profitability now. And you'll see that in some future numbers here. And then we look at non-GAAP as far as a loss per share, 44 cents versus 63 cents per share last year. So we're making recoveries even despite the huge layoffs and whatnot. So truly, I can feel profitability coming. I can feel absolutely on a non-GAAP, and they reiterated that like 47 times on the conference call that they will be non-GAAP profitable in 2017, this year. That's big. I think there's even a possibility, keyword possibility, they could maybe eke out a profit even on a GAAP basis, which would be amazing. And I absolutely expect them to be profitable in 2018 on a GAAP basis. I see no reason at all why they cannot. Now, let's look at some other things here. So second quarter revenue, they're expecting $270 million in second quarter revenue, plus or minus 10 million. So somewhere between 260 million and 280 million. They're expecting GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins to be around 33.5%. That would be an improvement over this past quarter. GAAP operating expenses of $142 million to $146 million. That's very nice. That number's coming down. Non-GAAP of between $122 million and $126 million. Fabulous. And then look at this. Adjusted EBITDA to be only lose about $15 million, give or take $5 million. So basically, they're expecting to lose this upcoming quarter on adjusted EBITDA of around $10 million to $20 million. So we see now that they are starting to get very, very close to profitability. And mind you, we're in the weakest quarters for GoPro, Q1 and Q2. So as Q3 transpires and then into Q4, I see no reason why they cannot be profitable on a non-GAAP basis and possibly a GAAP basis, especially for Q4 and into 2018. Now, something else I want to highlight, 2017 GAAP operating expenses are below $580 million, non-GAAP below $495 million. This is compared to like $800 million they were doing last year for as far as expenses going, way too many employees they had hired. Now, they killed analyst numbers here easily. Analysts had already brought up their numbers since GoPro had pre-announced, right? So analysts had brought them up to $207 million. They did $219. So GoPro beat their own guidance. They beat analyst guidance easily. They killed it. And then we look at what analysts were expecting for next quarter. $241 million analysts are expecting for next quarter, right? GoPro saying they're going to do between $260 and $280 million next quarter, meaning analysts are going to have to bring up all their revenue estimates greatly unless they want to stick with them and be wrong, right? Or maybe they could be right, but the chances of that are very slim. So what analysts are going to have to do at this point, they're going to have to bring up their numbers. They're probably going to have to bring up their share price targets. That's a great thing for GoPro stock over the coming months and probably into the coming years. Now, as far as the stock movement, did nothing after hours. When I took the screenshot here right before I'm recording the video, up 0.56%, up 5 cents a share. This is why I never try to have an opinion on where stock prices go short term, because who the heck knows? This is a killer quarter. This stock should be up 10, 15, maybe even 20% after hours. Because it's a stock that's been killed, right? And you got them beating the numbers. No, they beat their own numbers. They beat the numbers they thought they were going to do in March. They beat the numbers that they killed the numbers analysts thought, especially the analysts thought originally. And then they killed guidance. So this stock should be up massively right now, and it's not. But that's just the way the stock market works. Sometimes stocks, you go up that you're like, why would that stock go up? Their numbers are horrible and they go up. And sometimes a company like this reports great numbers and their stock hardly moves, and it's like, what? But hey, I'm not, I'm in this for the longer term, so I'm not worried about, what happens tomorrow, whether it goes up 5% or down 5% or stays break even, what happens in the end. But needless to say, this stock should be up massively if the world all worked properly. Now, let's look at Google. Google smashed some numbers here. Despite the whole YouTube situation that affected toward the back half of the quarter, EPS of $7.73 versus $7.39 were expected from analysts. And then they did revenue of $24.75 billion versus $24.22 billion analysts were expected. Now, look at this as it compares year over year. When Google parent recorded adjusted first quarter earnings last year of $6.02 a share. $6.02, and they just did a $7.73 number. And then revenue last year was $20.26 billion. They just reported a $24.75 billion number. So we can see why I'm so excited about Google. And this covers two stocks that were in my 3 stocks I'm buying. In last month's video, GoPro, right, is my number 1. Google was my number 3. Wynn Resorts, by the way, reported the other day. Great numbers out of them. I'll discuss that on Sunday's video, which will be 4 stocks I'm buying now. So we'll get into Wynn Resorts on that time. But as far as Google goes, absolutely stellar numbers. And the stock moved pretty nice after hours, about a 4% up move. That stock, as of the after hours, is over $900 a share now, over $900 per share. So great numbers out of Google. Amazon, holy smokers. Amazon came out and destroyed numbers. So sales jumped 23% to $35.7 billion. And earnings per share climbed to $1.48. From $1.07 that analysts were expecting. $1.12 analysts were expecting. Analysts expected $1.12 for them to do. They did $1.48. They crushed it. And analysts were expecting $35.3 billion in revenue, and Amazon also beat that by about $400 million. So Amazon now is over, well, it was already over $900. Now it's over $950 per share. That made about a 3.5% up move after hours. So basically, Bezos going into today was worth right around about $80 billion, give or take. So as of tomorrow, he will gain probably 2, 3, maybe $4 billion. Can you guys believe that? He will make that much money tomorrow. Or you could say he's already made that because of the stock going up after hours. So you could say his net wealth increased from basically 1 o'clock when the market's closed, right? Or 4 o'clock on Eastern time, right? He had such and such amount of money. And 10 minutes later, after those numbers came out, his net worth was worth more than $2, $3, $4 billion more in 10-minute time. That's freaking incredible. The last one we want to cover here is Starbucks. So Starbucks was the only one that came out with disappointing numbers. Now, they did EPS of 45 cents, which was in line with estimates, so they met numbers there. But revenue lagged just a bit. They did $5.29 billion in revenue. The forecast was $5.41 billion. Same-store sales of 3% versus 3.7% were expected by Wall Street. That's 2 straight quarters they missed on the same-store sales numbers. But there was some good news in the Starbucks quarter, though. Right here, the company said same-store sales improved as the quarter progressed. Very important there. Culminating with a 4% U.S. same-store sales growth in March, which is the very last quarter of the very last month of that quarter, and further acceleration into April. That's very good news there for Starbucks. Very good news. Now, the stock after hours did drop. It's dropped close to 5% to about the $58 range. Starbucks is a stock I'm very interested in, a stock that I need to really look into very deep, because after a drop like that, and with same-store sales accelerating throughout the quarter, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. So I may have to look into this, and they got a lot of hype last week over that unicorn frappuccino. That's probably going to drive sales over at least for the rest of this month and whatnot. You know, just kind of having their brand out there and almost like free advertising for them. So definitely a company I want to look at very in depth at this point, Starbucks is. So that covers what we had. GoPro, great numbers. Google, great numbers. Amazon, great numbers. Like any way you look at it, those 3 companies reported phenomenal numbers. Starbucks, a little disappointing, but at this point, I'm going to start looking into Starbucks very in depth, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this today. And you know what, guys? Have a great day. Hi, Google headquarters. How are you? I'm great, thanks. May I please speak with the CEO? It's Jeremy. Jeremy from the Financial Education Channel? Yeah, just put me through. I know it's a busy day. They're having earnings and whatnot. Just put me through, please. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Schmidt, how are you, sir? Jeremy from the Financial Education Channel. I know you don't have a lot of time, but listen, you just came out with your earnings report. Nowhere in there did you ever mention my name, and I find that very disrespectful. The mere fact I brought you guys thousands upon thousands of dollars in revenue, tens of thousands of dollars in revenue last quarter, you didn't even mention my name. That's nothing to you? That's nothing to you. Well, I find that to be very disrespectful. You know what? I'm this close to starting a new channel on MySpace. Yeah, you have a good day too. Hi, Amazon headquarters. How are you? I am great, thanks. Hey, may I please speak with Mr. Bezos? Thank you so much. Great customer service here. Great. Hey, Mr. Bezos. How are you, sir? I'm doing great, thanks. Hey, curious. So, I know you guys' quarterly report just came out. Nice job, but nowhere in there did it ever mention my name. Why is that? I had the book come out. Yeah, there was a big seller. It was like top seller in stock market investing, and you guys don't even mention my name? Oh, I'm so stupid. The book came out in April, and this was for January, February, March quarter. Oh, so you'll mention me next month. I'm so sorry, dude. That's my fault. No, I'm an idiot. My apologies. Okay, so I'll be on the lookout next month. No, I would love to go on the yacht with you this weekend, but you know what? I already got plans with Woodman. Nick Woodman, GoPro? Yeah, I'm going on his yacht this weekend, so. I know, dude, it's like 7 weekends in a row, but we're buddies, you know? I know, you know, and I feel bad he's not a billionaire anymore. He's kind of broke, especially compared to you, but you know what? I'm support my friends even if they are broke, you know? I know he's only worth like $700 million. What a loser, huh? Yeah, but no, I'm not going to say that to his face. He's still a good buddy. Yeah. Well, anyways, we'll hook up one of these weekends. Okay. Bye-bye.